What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to predict who we think wins each game in Week 7. Last week, T-Bone over here, in case you can't tell, had himself a pretty darn good week. Entered the week down 3 games. We differed on 4 games last week, and he won all 4, went 13-2, and sniped the lead out from under my feet. I went 9-6 last week, so that'll bring my record up to 61-32, and T-Bone, with his first lead of the season, 62-31, so it's gotten really interesting. Excited to see what happens going forward. Feel free to play along in the comment section if you would like. We would love to see who you think's going to win each game and how you're doing with predictions this year. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. Starting off with the teams who are going to be on the bye this week. The Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Dallas Cowboys, the Houston Texans, the New York Jets, and the Tennessee Titans will all be on the bye this week, so those teams will not play. And with 6 teams on the bye, that means that there will be 13 games in the NFL this week. Starting off with the first one, Thursday Night Football, we have ourselves the New Orleans Saints hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Saints coming off of a loss to the Houston Texans, not the result they wanted in that one, a very winnable game. And 3-3, I think, is not the start that they wanted. I think they were hoping to win at least 4 of their first 6, but the division race is still wide open at the moment, still early on, enough for them to figure it out. Jacksonville Jaguars coming off of a win against the Indianapolis Colts, beating the Colts for the second time this year, and they looked a little bit better than they have been in that game. We'll see if they're able to continue playing better in this one. This one has the potential to be a very interesting game. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be an interesting game. Even though Jags are heading into NOLA and the Saints could win this, they definitely could because the South is opened up enough. I think that the Jags are going to keep their momentum rolling on this one.
I agree with you there. I think the Jags are going to come away with the win, but I think the Saints are a plenty good enough team to try and make something happen. We'll see if their defense can stop a decent Jags offense. Going to be an exciting one, but I've got the Jags winning this one. Alrighty, up next we've got ourselves the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Atlanta Falcons. The Buccaneers coming off of a tough loss to the Detroit Lions. Lions, one of the best teams in the league, so not a big loss for Tampa Bay, game they were underdogs in. But so far, 3-2 through 6 games, already had their bye. Tampa Bay's not doing too bad, leading the division at the moment, and they're looking like they could be one of the better teams in the league, whereas the Atlanta Falcons have been the epitome of inconsistency so far this year. They have been up and down all over the place, but through 6 games, they have a 3-3 record, coming off of a loss to the Commanders last week, a game that everyone thought they would win, but not how it works. So division matchups always going to be interesting. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Vegas. Definitely the Bucs are the better team, but I think that the Bucs are going to be a little bit. I am not as high on the Bucs as everyone else is, and that's me being a hater. And you know what? I'm going to admit this. I also hate the Falcons too, though, so you can't really blame the hatred here. I actually think the Falcons are going to upset the Buccaneers in this one. I do.
I've got the Buccaneers winning. They're playing at home, and I just think they're the better and more consistent football team right now. Their defense has been pretty good. Offensive lines looked pretty solid. Baker playing well. Overall, I think they're going to be able to handle the Falcons in this one. Alrighty, up next, we've got ourselves the Chicago Bears hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, the Bears, coming off of a loss to the Minnesota Vikings where it did not look pretty. Lost to another bad football team. It's not looking good for this Bears team. They look like they're going to have pick number 1 and pick number 2. Pick number 1 courtesy currently of the Carolina Panthers, but it's been an ugly year for a Chicago team that had high hopes entering the season. Whereas the Raiders somehow through 6 weeks find themselves at 3-3, despite not playing like a team that deserves to be at 3-3, coming off of a win over the New England Patriots, where they did not play that great, but they got a couple of breaks. Defense made some good plays and got the job done. So this is definitely the battle of not so good, but I think the Raiders are probably the better team heading into this one. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Both teams are bad, but I know the Bears are way worse than the Raiders, way worse. And easy talking about how the Raiders didn't play good last week. They played better than the Patriots, but that's besides the point. I've got the Raiders winning this one. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be bad, and I'm going to hate watching this game. That being said, I got the Raiders. The Bears are just too bad.
I didn't know you intended on watching this game, but I also have the Raiders winning this one. I think they're going to be able to get the job done. I just think they have the better team. So that's what I've got, but this is not one a lot of people are looking forward to. Alrighty, coming up next, we've got ourselves the Indianapolis Colts hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Colts coming off of their second loss to the year to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Anthony Richardson is confirmed out for the season. That's going to be a big hit to them. The rookie quarterback was playing pretty well for them so far when he wasn't getting hurt. Gardner Minshew going to be starting the rest of the way. Colts have a pretty good run game, but the Cleveland Browns have a very good run defense. We saw that they're coming off a win against the San Francisco 49ers. Their run defense was really big in that game. And overall, I have a hard time seeing the Colts dealing with that Browns defense. I think the Browns defense is going to have a good day. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I love P.J. Walker. I love Gardner Minshew. Minshew mania, you could say. I'm famous, not very famous, but I have been known to say before Jalen Hurts' great season last year, I used to say that Minshew should have had the starting over Jalen Hurts. I don't think that anymore, but I'm still high. I'm still high on Minshew. That being said, no, he's been playing like stir-fried ass. It's PJ Walker and the Browns. That Browns defense is literally going to baby Minshew.
that is that is certainly a way of putting it. But I do have the Browns winning this one as well. For the same reasons, Minshew's not been great, and the Browns' run defense is just going to be too much for the Colts to handle. Okay. Alrighty. Up next, we've got ourselves the New York Giants hosting the Washington Commanders. The Giants coming off of an ugly, tight loss to the Buffalo Bills, where they're definitely going to feel slighted by the refs, and for pretty good reason. Last play, attempted a game-winning touchdown. Pass interference was committed, but not called. And so the Bills definitely got away with one there, but the Giants have been an ugly, ugly, ugly team so far. Sitting on a 1-5 start, dead last in the division. It has not been pretty for them, especially with the offense. Offensive line has been just terrible. Daniel Jones is hurt. It's not been a good year so far for the Giants, whereas the Washington Commanders, just like the Atlanta Falcons, have been the epitome of inconsistency. They find themselves sitting at 3-3 through 6 weeks, coming off a win over said Falcons, but you never know what you're going to get from them week in and week out. So, T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be battle of the mid, really. I mean, both Commanders been playing inconsistent. Giants were holding the Bills, had a little bit of ref ball there. But that being said, I've got the Commanders really getting this one out in the end. I think it's going to be a close-ish game, but I've got the Commanders. I think that they're going to take another step forward.
I've got the Washington Commanders winning this game as well. I just think they're the better football team right now. And despite this being in New York, I think they're going to play better. I think they're more equipped to win this one. Alrighty, coming up next, we've got ourselves the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Detroit Lions. The Ravens coming off of a win over the Tennessee Titans where it didn't look particularly impressive, but as the Ravens have done well doing this year, they got job done. 4-2, top of their division currently. Been playing pretty good despite injuries. That's definitely going to be the big concern for them going forward, and especially in a game like this against a very good team like the Detroit Lions, who are coming off a win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went in, shut down the Bucs offense, got it done, got the win. The Lions defense has been a very crucial part of their squad this year, and they have been playing up to snuff, better than people expected them to. And Lions riding high, 5-1 through 6, so they're definitely the favorites headed into Baltimore. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I definitely think it's going to be a close-ish game because Ravens have been playing not great, but they've been playing solid. They've been playing solid. They're getting wins. They're doing what they need to do. That being said, I think the Lions are just too great. They're just too good. You can't stop them. So I got the Lions on this one.
I've got the Detroit Lions winning as well. I think the Ravens defense can definitely do some stuff, stop the Lions, but I don't know if they're going to be able to defeat the Lions. I think the Lions just have too much star power and just too well built and well coached of a team. Alrighty, coming up next, we've got ourselves the New England Patriots hosting the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots coming off of a loss to the Las Vegas Raiders where they looked better than they did the previous 2 weeks, but it didn't look great, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Defense still been playing pretty good despite losing their best two players. They head into this one at 1-5, beyond a bad start for them, not what they were hoping at all, whereas the Buffalo Bills coming off of a tight win over the New York Giants where they definitely got a bit of help from the refs at the end and didn't look great. Didn't like the Buffalo Bills team we know they can be. And we know they can be it because we saw it against the Dolphins. But Bills are definitely one of those teams who have also played very inconsistently week in, week out. You never know which version of them you're going to get. And this is a divisional game. Divisional games, always weird. That being said, the Bills have kind of owned the Patriots in this matchup as of late. T-Bone, your thoughts?
So this is definitely going to be an interesting game just on the fact that there's just so much inconsistency that's come from both teams. That being said, at both teams' height, it's the Bills. And I feel like the Bills are gonna, they're gonna wake up from that loss that near loss they had, and they're gonna kick some Patriot butt, even if it's at home, in Foxborough.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Buffalo Bills winning this one. The way the New England Patriots have played, they're not beating this team. As much as I hate to say it, as a Patriots fan, it's not been good enough, and so advantage Buffalo. Alrighty, coming up next, we've got ourselves the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks coming off of a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals in which their offense had a good day if you ignore their offense in the red zone. Did not have a good day in the red zone at all, blew countless opportunities, and it cost them in a tight game against Cincinnati. They're definitely going to be looking to bounce back here in this one, whereas the Arizona Cardinals coming off of a loss to the LA Rams, a game they were never really in. Did not look good at all. Looked more like the team everyone expected them to be. This is a divisional game, though, and we've definitely seen games between the Seahawks and Cardinals get weird. My favorite one of that being the 6-6 tie some number of years ago. I forget the year on that one, but it's a divisional game. It can get weird. T-Bone, your thoughts?
There were so many missed kicks that game. So many.
Blocked kicks, too. Lots of blocked kicks.
Oh, yeah.
Jump over the line.
Yep. So this may, there may be an upset here or there. That being said, all love to my Cardinals. They're not my Cardinals, but, it's nice to see them succeed. I've always been a big fan of Larry Fitz. No, the Seahawks are going to go in. They're going to do what they need to do. They're going to get their job done, and that's going to be the end of this discussion.
Yeah, I've got the Seattle Seahawks winning. They're just a much better football team than the Cardinals. This game is going to be in Seattle. That 12th man crowd is going to be tough. I think Seattle's got the advantage in this one. Alrighty, up next we've got ourselves the Los Angeles Rams hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams coming off of a pretty comfortable win over the Arizona Cardinals, where we didn't really learn a lot about the Rams in that game. It was just kind of go in, get business done, go out. So Rams have been a pretty good but also kind of inconsistent team this year that you never really know what you're going to get from them week in, week out. But overall, it's been decent from them. They are 3-3 through 6 games, so there's definitely some things they want to improve on. Whereas the Steelers, coming off of a bye this week, beat the Ravens the week before in an ugly game. The Steelers somehow, through 6 games, find themselves at 3-2, despite not playing like a team that should be 3-2. It's been ugly for them, but they're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ugly is the name of the game, and Mike Tomlin always finds a way to bring that team to a 500 or winning record. How he does it, I don't know. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yes, so definitely I do believe in Michael Penaway Tomlin that he will bring this football team to at or above 500. That being said, no, not this week. Not this week. I think the Rams are too good on the offense and too good on the defense, and I think that they are going to just outperform the Steelers in most ways.
I agree. I have the Rams winning this one as well. I just think they are the better football team at the moment. Steelers going to be more well-rested, but I still think the Rams got this one. Alrighty, coming up next, we've got ourselves the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chiefs coming off of a Thursday Night Football win over the Denver Broncos, where it wasn't pretty, but it was a win, 19-8. Definitely going to want to pick up the play if you're Kansas City. It's not been up to their usual standards, but regardless of that, they do find themselves at 5-1 through 6 games, whereas the Los Angeles Chargers, coming off of a tough loss to the Dallas Cowboys, they're 2-3 through 6. Not the start to the year they wanted. They have been subpar so far this year, and they're going to really need something to get them going. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, so definitely the Chiefs have been playing not well. That being said, neither the Chargers, and I think that the Chiefs are going to just be a little bit better than the Chargers. I think this will be a close game, and I think they may even split this season. But no, I've got the Chiefs.
I've got the Chiefs winning this one as well. They're going to be coming off of a few days extra rest, and they're just the more well-built team. It's also going to be in Arrowhead, which is a notoriously difficult place to go in and get a win. So I've got Kansas City for this one. Alrighty, coming up next, we've got ourselves the Denver Broncos hosting the Green Bay Packers. The Broncos coming off of that Thursday Night Football loss to the Chiefs. It was not pretty, but then again, no Broncos game ever is. They're a not good football team by any stretch of the imagination. And they're going to be hoping to come in and get a win against the Green Bay Packers, another team who also have not been playing that great. They're going to be coming off a bye, though, so both teams on extended rest, but Packers going to have a little bit extra in this one, and they're definitely going to be looking for some way to bounce back after losing to the Raiders the week before. The Packers find themselves sitting at 2-3 through 6 games, not the start they wanted. Broncos 1-5. So both teams needing some sort of bounce back. This is going to be a battle of the uglies. But it could get interesting. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, honestly, I am higher on the Packers than you are and lower on the Broncos than you are. So I think the Packers will just beat them pretty handedly. I also kind of don't believe in superstition, but that being said, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love all went 2-3 as their first starts as a Packers. So I don't know. I'm high on it. So that's what I gotta say.
I mean, I've got the Packers winning this one myself, but I wouldn't exactly call the Packers play pretty so far. They did lose to both the Raiders and the Falcons, who aren't very good teams, and I don't know where you get the idea that I'm high on the Broncos. I am not. They are one of the 3 worst teams in this league, which the Packers are not, so I've got them winning. Alrighty, coming up next, it's gonna be Sunday Night Football. This one's gonna be a good one. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Miami Dolphins. The Eagles coming off of their first loss of the year to the New York Jets, a game that was very ugly. The Jets defense gave them some trouble, made life tough for them, and were able to get the job done. So, Eagles still looking like one of the best teams in the league regardless. 5-1 through 6 games, tied for the best record in the league. Whereas the Miami Dolphins also 5-1 through 6 weeks, tied for the best record in the league. There are several teams that hold that honor at the moment. These two are two of them, and it's going to be an exciting one. The Dolphins have a high-flying offense with a lot of star power and speed, and it's really well coached by Mike McDaniel. Defense definitely a concern for the Dolphins, but they got a couple of good guys like Bradley Chubb who can make things happen. So this one has the potential to be a very interesting and entertaining football game. T-Bone, your thoughts?
This is definitely going to be a hard-hitting, very interesting, very enjoyable football game. Sorry, just had a little brain fart there. But I actually, with the Eagles playing how they are, I've got the Dolphins on this one.
I have got the Philadelphia Eagles getting the win at home in primetime. I think their defense is going to be able to limit the Dolphins' offense enough. I think the Eagles' offense is going to be able to do what they need to do against a lesser Dolphins defense. The Dolphins defense is definitely the weakness on their team, and the Eagles are more than good enough to exploit it, but it's definitely going to have to be without some of the ugly football that they have played. So, but I do think the Eagles are going to get the job done in this one. And finally, on Monday Night Football, we've got the Minnesota Vikings hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The Vikings coming off of a win over the Chicago Bears, where they did not look particularly good. The Vikings have not looked good in general so far this year. coming in at 2-4, and their 2 wins are against the 2 worst teams in the NFL in Carolina and Chicago. It has been an ugly, ugly year for Minnesota. Whereas the San Francisco 49ers, coming off of an upset loss to the Cleveland Browns where injuries and ref ball definitely affected the game, but had a tough time moving it against a good Browns defense. Regardless, they still look like the best team in the league and certainly are going to be the big favorites to win this one. T-Bone, your thoughts?
There could be an upset. There could be. I don't think there is going to be, but there could be. I've got the 49ers having a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to go in and they are going to smack Minnesota up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. The San Francisco 49ers are definitely the favorites to win this one, and I have a very, very difficult time seeing them lose in this game. Alrighty, that is gonna be it. No more games for this week. Please feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. We'd love to hear who you think is going to win each game this weekend. Feel free, if you'd like, to play along with us as the season goes along. See how well you do compared to us. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.